Intel Corporation was founded in 1968 by Gordon E. Moore and Robert Noyce, two pioneers in semiconductor technology who had previously worked at Fairchild Semiconductor. With financial backing from venture capitalist Arthur Rock, they set out to develop cutting-edge semiconductor memory products. The company's name, a blend of integrated electronics, became symbolic of its mission to revolutionize the world of computing. In 1969, Intel's first product was the 3101 Schottky Bipolar Random Access Memory (RAM) chip. 2 years after, the launch of the Intel 4004, the world's first microprocessor, set the stage for a technology revolution. This 4-bit processor allowed complex functions to be programmed, marking Intel as a key innovator in computing. By 1983, Intel shifted focus toward the microprocessor market, becoming the leading supplier of personal computer (PC) microprocessors. The partnership with IBM solidified Intel's dominance in the industry. 10 years later, in 1993, the release of the Pentium-registered trademark processor was a significant milestone, as it brought high performance to consumers, propelling Intel into the global spotlight. In 2006, Intel moved to multi-core processors with the introduction of Core Trademark Duo processors, heralding a new era of performance for personal and enterprise computing. 3 years ago, Intel initiated IDM 2.0 strategy under CEO Pat Gelsinger, aiming to manufacture more of its own chips, re-establishing leadership in the manufacturing process, and building foundry capabilities to compete with companies like TSMC. Intel's innovation and resilience have allowed it to remain a dominant player, despite facing intense competition in recent years from companies like AMD, NVIDIA, and Apple's in-house M1 and M2 chips. An interesting fact about Intel's history is that the company's very first product wasn't a microprocessor, which it's most famous for today, but rather a memory chip. In 1969, Intel released the 3101 Schottky Bipolar 64-bit Static Random Access Memory (SRAM) chip. This was a groundbreaking product in the semiconductor industry at the time. However, the major turning point for Intel came in 1971, when it launched the world's first commercially available microprocessor, the Intel 4004. Originally intended for a Japanese calculator manufacturer, this invention laid the foundation for modern computing. The success of the 4004 processor signaled Intel's shift from a focus on memory chips to microprocessors, which would become the heart of its future business and revolutionize personal computing. Intel is one of the largest technology companies on the Nasdaq, historically offering both growth and value propositions to investors. We will take a look at its stock performance and analysis. As of 2024, Intel's stock price hovers between $45 and $20 per share, having experienced fluctuations in the last 5 years due to industry changes, supply chain issues, and competitive pressures. Intel has a market capitalization of around $100 billion, making it one of the top semiconductor companies globally, although its market cap has decreased from its peak of over $250 billion in 2019. Intel has consistently paid dividends, making it attractive for income-seeking investors. The company has maintained a dividend yield of around 2.5%, which is above average for a technology stock. Its stock performance has lagged behind competitors in recent years due to strategic missteps in manufacturing delays, notably the transition to 7nm chips and increased competition from AMD and NVIDIA. However, the company's restructuring efforts under the leadership of CEO Pat Gelsinger show promise for long-term growth. Intel's PE ratio is lower than the industry average, sitting at around 15-18, which can signal undervaluation if the company's turnaround strategy succeeds. Intel's earnings per share is currently impacted by high investment costs and declining margins, with forecasts expecting gradual recovery through 2025. Intel remains an attractive stock for value investors who see potential in the company's IDM 2.0 strategy and long-term roadmap, especially with its investments in research and development, artificial intelligence, and manufacturing capabilities. In conclusion, Intel, INTC, continues to be a significant player in the global semiconductor industry, offering a mix of stability and potential upside. Despite recent setbacks, including stock underperformance compared to its competitors and a decline in market capitalization, Intel's strong dividend yield and relatively low PE ratio position it as a compelling choice for value-oriented investors. While challenges remain, Intel's commitment to technological leadership and strategic realignment may offer substantial returns for patient investors with the potential for long-term growth. The semiconductor industry is highly competitive, with Intel facing stiff competition from AMD, NVIDIA, TSMC, and ARM-based chipmakers. Here's how Intel compares to its key rivals. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. AMD has taken market share from Intel, especially in the CPU market with its Ryzen processors. AMD's stock performance has significantly outpaced Intel in the last few years, reflecting strong execution and better product performance in gaming and high-performance computing areas. AMD has excelled in the consumer and server markets, whereas Intel still dominates enterprise solutions and data centers. Another competitor, NVIDIA, which leads in GPU development and AI computing, has emerged as a critical player, particularly as AI and machine learning become central to computing's future. NVIDIA's growth has been astronomical, with market cap far exceeding Intel's. A key difference is that NVIDIA's focus is on AI, GPUs, and cloud computing, while Intel is more focused on traditional computing and hardware infrastructure. As a third significant competitor, we have to mention Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which is the world's largest contract chip maker, manufacturing chips for companies like Apple, AMD, and NVIDIA. Intel competes directly with TSMC as it seeks to grow its own foundry business. Intel's market and stock position are under pressure, but it retains a strong presence in legacy markets and is making strategic moves to compete in high-growth areas like AI, automotive, and foundry services. Intel's future will be determined by how successfully it can execute its current strategy, especially its IDM 2.0 plan and investments in AI, autonomous driving, and 5G. Several factors are worth noting for investors. IDM 2.0 and foundry services. Intel is aggressively moving to expand its in-house manufacturing and provide foundry services to other companies, positioning itself as a competitor to TSMC. This strategy could increase its revenue base and help it capture more of the global semiconductor market. AI and high-performance computing. Intel is focusing on integrating AI capabilities into its processors and chips to meet the growing demand in data centers, cloud services, and autonomous vehicles. With the rise of AI, Intel's potential lies in making chips that can handle massive data processing workloads. Investments in the US and Europe. Intel has made significant investments in building new fabs, chip manufacturing plants, in the US and Europe, with strong government backing. These investments aim to reduce global reliance on Asian semiconductor manufacturing, which is a geopolitical advantage for Intel. In the short term, analysts expect Intel's stock price to remain range-bound between $30 and $40 until the company shows tangible results from its restructuring and investments. In the long term, if Intel's foundry services and AI investments gain traction, its stock could break out significantly by 2025, with potential upside as high as $50-$60 per share, depending on the execution of its strategic goals. Remember, this is just a guess. Nobody can predict the stock market prices or the future value of a company's shares. This video is not a financial advice. Its main purpose is to be informative and educational. Intel presents a compelling case for value-oriented and patient investors who believe in the strength of its long-term strategy. While the company has faced significant challenges in recent years, such as delays in its manufacturing roadmap and increased competition from industry rivals like AMD, NVIDIA, and TSMC, it remains a critical player in the global semiconductor ecosystem. The company's IDM 2.0 initiative, which seeks to revitalize its manufacturing capabilities and expand into the foundry business, demonstrates Intel's commitment to regaining its technological leadership. By investing heavily in cutting-edge fabrication plants and advanced node technologies, Intel is positioning itself to compete directly with global leaders in chip manufacturing. Moreover, Intel's focus on AI integration, autonomous driving, and 5G infrastructure highlights its ambition to capture the next wave of technological growth. As data centers, cloud providers, and automotive manufacturers seek more powerful AI-driven computing solutions, Intel's efforts to innovate in these areas could pay significant dividends in the coming years. From a stock market perspective, Intel's strong dividend yield, consistent profitability, and undervalued stock price relative to its historical performance may attract income-seeking investors looking for stable returns. Intel remains a cornerstone of the semiconductor industry, and despite recent setbacks, it has demonstrated resilience and a clear vision for the future. Investors who believe in the company's strategic pivot, its ability to execute on complex technological advancements, and its long-term potential to regain market share may find Intel to be a worthwhile investment, especially when compared to higher-risk growth stocks in the same industry. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked this video, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe button. See you next week!